Hey guys, Ken here. Alright, so I've sold over 9,000 audiobooks on Audible, and this equals to roughly around $45,000 in royalties. And as you can see, the majority of this is coming from only 3 main books. And the important thing is these books barely cost me more than $100 to get narrated. And even though I published them years ago, they still make me anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 in royalties every single month of pure profit. Audiobooks are easily one of the most overlooked income streams when it comes to Amazon KDP publishers or just anyone wanting to make money online. You don't run ads, you barely need reviews to sell, there's not much competition, and once they're up, you ignore them and they can keep earning for years to come. In this video, we're going to dive into exactly how to find winning audiobook topics fast, how to get them produced quickly and affordably, even if you already have your book on Amazon. And we're going to dive into how we can use Amazon's new AI narration feature that makes it faster and cheaper than ever to get audiobooks created. Plus, we're going to dive into the easiest way to get audiobook reviews so you can start ranking and selling as fast as possible. Let's dive into it. All right, so step 1 of getting our book on Audible is we of course have to do keyword research. This is when we go and look for potential book topics to publish in and just ensure that they have potential before we go through the process of making and investing in a book. And there is a few things we need to do this correctly. The first one is just a blank spreadsheet like this. Ignore these columns, we will get to this after. We just want a place to record our potential topics that we find. We're also going to need the BookBeam tool. It is a paid tool, however, it is essential for seeing the relevant data that we need to see on Audible, just to properly validate the topics and make sure that they are good. I will leave my affiliate link below, and I did manage to get my hands on a few discount codes for you, so definitely check that out as well. And lastly, you're just going to need to dive into the Amazon bestseller categories. So I will leave a link to a document below that's going to cover basically everything I mentioned in this video, all the links, all the resources, as well as a step-by-step guide to basically doing exactly what we're doing in this video, just so you have a clear resource to refer back to if you are stuck somewhere in the process. All right, so before we dive into actually finding our book topics, we have to understand what to look for. And so basically what we're looking for are medium content books. These are things like trivia books, facts books, any sort of text-based book. These are super easy to create and do pretty well when it comes to audiobooks. And of course, we're also looking for any really nonfiction niche that's also text-based. What we don't want to look for are things like workbooks, cookbooks, books with a lot of images, exercise books. These tend to not do very well with Audible just because people aren't searching and buying them because they're looking for the paperback version. So now all I'm going to do is dive into the bestseller categories, look through them on the left here, and see if we can find some potential topics. So I'm just going to go into, let's say, teens. We have sports and outdoors. So just get creative and go as deep as you want to go. And basically what we're going to be doing is looking at all the books that rank underneath these categories and just writing down some topics that we can find. So right off the bat, we have baseball trivia. And when you do have the BookBeam tool, you're going to see all these metrics here. So we can ignore this for now. It will be helpful if we want to make a paperback book. When we're just making audiobooks, we're going to use this same information. However, when we're actually on audible.com. We also have this topic here, off-grid survival for kids. And basically, I'm just going to record these in the spreadsheet and make a list of anywhere from 50 to 100 keywords. Now, once you have your list, we can go into the actual validation process, which is when we prove if these topics are good or not before we decide to make a book on them. So the audiobook keyword research process is quite different from the normal Amazon KDP paperback keyword research process. The reason being is the search results are very different here, and we only need to look at a few metrics. The first one is going to be the search volume. We have to make sure that people are actually searching the topic. And the second one is going to be the bestseller ranks of the books that are ranking here, just to prove that basically people are searching and people are buying the books. And so in this case, as you can see, the search volume is quite low. And of course, the bestseller ranks of the books are high as well. So as you can see, 0 sales, 0 sales, 0 sales a day. And the BookBeam tool is nice because you can see how many sales a day it makes, as well as the royalty count, not just the bestseller rank. And it is quite accurate. And so basically, that's all I have to look at. There's no search volume, the books aren't selling. So why would I publish a book in this topic? Even if we, let's say, create a good book that looks like this, with a decent cover, a few reviews, this is basically proving that our book isn't going to sell. Because if this book isn't selling, why would ours? Now, when it comes to actually recording this data in our spreadsheet, I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm just going to type in the search volume and then a rough average BSR that I saw of the books that were there. So as you can see, they weren't selling. They were like 500,000, 300,000, 600,000. So I'm just going to say 400,000. Basically what we're aiming for is, I guess, anywhere from 50,000 or below of an average BSR. And this is basically telling us that the books are selling well that are ranking there. And if we create a good book, of course, get a ranking there also, which will be very possible because the competition with audiobooks are very low. It's a very high chance that we will sell as well. But if there's no chance, like this keyword here, then we're just going to steer clear. So this is a better example of what we want to look for. As you can see, I typed in ChatGPT. The search volume is about 5,000 and the books are selling super well. So we have $80 a day, $50 a day, $40 a day. And the average BSR is more like 10 to 20,000. And so there's clearly search volume for this topic. The only problem with it is, of course, it is a bit broad. So as you can see, there is a few different topics here. We have AI stock trading for beginners, prompt engineering, and a few other things. So the important thing is you do have a specific topic like baseball trivia, and the books are clearly on baseball trivia. But for the sake of the example, this clearly shows that there is demand. And of course, the books are selling well. And so when it comes to audiobooks, this is really all you have to look for. If you're publishing a paperback book on Amazon, the process is a lot more advanced because there's a lot more factors at play. There's books that have thousands of reviews, there's tons of saturation. And of course, you have to invest a lot more in multiple formats for your book. It's a bit more of a risk. So we do a bit more of a process for that. But for audiobooks, the competition is so low. All you have to do is look for high search volume, books that are selling well, a niche down topic, and you're good to go. So the topics that show the most potential, I'm just going to highlight in green. So then after I validate every single topic I have in my spreadsheet, I can go back and have a look and easily see the outliers. So for step 2, we have to actually create our book and get it on Audible. It's a very simple process. Basically what we have to do is get a simple ebook onto Amazon. And then once we have our book on Amazon, we can then go over to ACX, which is the platform that allows you to create audiobooks, and then publish your book onto Audible from there. So if you already have your book on Amazon, you've already published it, you want to turn it into an audiobook, we will get to that upload process later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But if you've never done it before, you're going to have your first book on Amazon and Audible, then you're going to want to go through this process in a second here. And basically the first step of this process is we're going to create a table of contents and a book outline for our book. We're going to go and use the Urban Writers to get it written. This is going to be very simple and easy because we're going to use their AI writer package. It's very cheap and very fast. And on top of that, we're also going to format our manuscript. We can, of course, outsource this, and I will show you where to go for that. But we can also do it completely free with Reedsy Studio because all we need is a simple ebook manuscript to upload our book. Because we're not going to be doing a paperback book, we're not going to do anything fancy. But of course, if your topic shows potential, we can always do the paperback book as well. And I will briefly touch on how to create a high quality paperback book at the end of this video. So make sure you stay till then if you do want to capitalize on both markets. Then of course, finally, we're just going to need a simple ebook and audiobook cover so that we can actually showcase our book to people. Now, when it comes to actually creating our table of contents, our outline, and our manuscript to get our ebook on Amazon, we're first going to go to ChatGPT, input a prompt to get our table of contents created. And of course, I will leave that prompt in the resource document below. We're also going to dive into it in a second. And then from there, we can prompt further and build out our outline. But you can also go and outsource this as well. You can use sites like Dibly Create, which is an AI tool that builds book outlines, as well as you can go to Fiverr and get somebody to create it for you. From there, we're going to go to the Urban Writers, give them our outline, and then our writer is going to use AI to write our book, as well as write it alongside it. It's going to be very fast, cheap, and easy. Then finally, we can format our book to actually get an ebook manuscript that's ready to publish, and we can use Reedsy Studio to do this. We'll dive into it quickly, but this is a free way to get a ebook basically formatted, and just makes it super easy and low cost as possible. So basically, it's super simple to get an outline created on ChatGPT. The first thing I'm going to do is essentially ask it for a prompt to do this. So give me a prompt to create a table of contents for a sports trivia book. It's going to give you the prompt. I will, of course, leave a prompt linked below for this, but you can also just do this as well. You can copy paste this prompt, put it in, and when you do that, it's going to actually give you back a table of contents. So as you can see, I have a sports trivia book here, 400 multiple choice questions with answers for all ages and fans. So already has a decent title. It has part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, just breaking it up into a simple trivia book. And it gives you some logic behind the structure, which is also helpful. And then from here, we can build this into an actual outline. It's good to have your table of contents first, just to make sure that the structure looks good, you're happy with it, and it is on par with your competitors. And of course, once again, we can ask ChatGPT, create me a prompt to turn this into a complete book outline. It's going to, of course, give you the prompt. You can then take that prompt, put it back into ChatGPT, and now it's going to start to build out the actual book outline, which is just a more detailed version of the table of contents that we can give to a writer. Now, as you can see, it has a lot more detail in it. So we have part 1, chapter 1, welcome to the arena. We have chapter 2, fast facts warm up. And so it just goes into the book a bit deeper and goes through all the chapters of each part. As you can see, this is quite thorough. And of course, now we can prompt it further and just elaborate on some of it. But in this case, it is being a bit more broad with what facts and trivia it wants for that chapter, which also can be fine because if we do have somebody using AI to write our book, they're going to be able to brainstorm this a lot better. And so in this case, a more generic book outline is going to work perfectly fine. So if you do want to make some changes, you're welcome to. If you're happy with your book outline from there, you can simply copy paste it, go and put it in a Google document and get it ready to give to a writer. And of course, like I mentioned, you can also check out Dibly Create if you like. I'm not going to dive into it super deep in this video, but they do have an outline generator tool. So if you do want to pump out a bunch of these books and you found lots of good topics, this is also a good way to do this as well. And we'll of course leave a link below for that. So now if you like, you can of course go to Dibly, Crate, or ChatGPT and just continue to prompt it to actually build out your complete book. If it is a simple trivia book, this might be easy to do, but if you do want to create a more in-depth book, or maybe you're in a more generic nonfiction topic that takes more substance, we can go to the Urban Writers and basically get a book written here. So we can simply go to Post a Project. We're going to create an account, of course. It's going to take you to a dashboard. From there, we can go to Post a Project, New Project Posting. You can name it. We can go to Build Your Own Project. We can go Continue. It's going to ask you what you're looking for. So in this case, we're looking for book writing. We're going to go to Nonfiction, go Continue. And then going to be asked if we want our AI-generated manuscript. So in this case, we're going to click this. As you can see, it's $1.70 per 100 words. So let's say we're making a trivia book that has 10,000 words. This is going to cost about $170. So very affordable. This is just a one-time payment that we pay once. We never have to pay again. And when it comes to audiobooks specifically, we're not going to be running any advertising to them. So all these costs are going to be a one-time cost to earn for basically years to come. So simply go through the rest of the prompts. You're going to input your book outline. You're going to get to the part where you can select a writer or have writers submit to you. Pick the one you like the best. It's going to be super easy and quick to get your book written. And once your book is getting written, we can work on a few other accessories. So now when it comes to our book cover, we're going to need an ebook cover as well as an audiobook cover. This is very easy to create. So getting a book cover made is super simple. We can just go to Fiverr, type in nonfiction book cover. From there, we can find somebody that has some good reviews as well as a good portfolio. And then once we do find somebody, we can simply go and get their basic package, which is going to be an ebook cover. This is going to be anywhere from $10 to $20. And then when we are happy with the result, we can simply ask them to make us an audiobook cover as well. They will know the dimensions. They're just going to tack it onto the price. If you have a bit higher of a budget, you can get a few different covers made from different designers and pick the one you like the best. A good rule of thumb is just to look at your competitors on Audible and make sure that you have a book cover that is one, easy to read, and of course stands out in terms of design and just the overall color palette than your competitor, so you know that people are going to see your book first and be enticed to buy it. So of course you need a few other things like your book title and your book description. I'm not going to dive into that super deep right now. I do have other videos on that. However, I will leave the prompts to your title and your description in the document below. And that's super easy. You can just take it, fill in your information, put it into ChatGPT. It's going to deliver you back a really good title as well as description because the prompt is already dialed in for you. All right, so now we have to get our book manuscript formatted so that we can actually post it and publish it to Amazon as an ebook. So basically, we're going to use Reedsy Studio to do this. It's free and very easy to use. It basically does half the work for you. So simply go type in Reedsy Studio in Google, go and create an account. From there, you're going to simply just import your book. This will be the Google Doc manuscript that you get back from your writer or the one that you completed yourself. Once you're inside the software, it's going to look something like this. So basically, you're going to have all your information on the left-hand side here. It's most likely going to auto-populate your chapters. What you want to do is just simply go into the first part, which is the introduction, and just make sure that the right text is in that section. So sometimes it will overlap and put some of the introduction into chapter 1 or chapter 1 into chapter 2, vice versa. So you want to kind of go through and just make sure that all these chapters are separated properly. So in this case, we have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, freelancing with AI, and then of course all the way to the conclusion. Then from there, we want to add a few things as well. So we're going to want to add our copyright page. This is very basic. You're just going to fill this information. It's going to auto-populate the copyright page for you when you do export your book. And of course, you want to look at our table of contents as well and just basically decide what we want for this. So in this case, I just want chapter titles. I don't want heading 1s or heading 2s. It just gets a bit too cluttered. So we're just going to go chapter titles. It's super simple, super straightforward. And of course, any sort of additional edits that you want to do, they have a bunch of tools on the left-hand side here. So you can split chapters if they did combine and different things like that. And so we'll mainly auto-populate your book. You're just going to go through and make sure each chapter is in the right spot and split the chapters if you have to. And then once we're ready to export our book, we're going to go over to the export book button on the right-hand side. Once we click this, it's going to take us to a few things we have to fill out. Basically, because we're just doing an ebook and we're going to turn that into an audiobook, we don't want to have a print-ready PDF. We simply just want an EPUB file. This is going to be the proper ebook file to upload to Amazon. It's going to ask you a few questions like, do you want to hide your chapter numbers? In this case, I don't. I want them to be visible. It's also going to give you a few templates to choose from based on the style. So we have Reedsy, we have Classic, we have Romance. So normally I'm going to go with Reedsy or Classic. Romance is more of a fiction type style. And so one of these first two is going to work fine. So of course you can back up your book if you'd like, but from there we're just going to go to Export Book. Once we click that, it's going to take a little bit, but it's going to take you to this page here where you can then download your book once it is ready. Now, although Reedsy Studio is very beginner friendly, if you don't want to do that, you can also just go to Fiverr and get your book formatting outsourced. So you can simply type in book formatting on Fiverr, and there's a few different options you can go with. So if you are, of course, creating a print-ready book, there are these higher level formatters that's going to make it look a lot nicer. But in this case, we're just going to need something simple like this one here. Most likely they're going to format it with sites like Vellum, maybe even Readsy Studio. It's going to cost way less. So this one here is only $20. This is up to 100 interior pages, 10 images. So the type of books that we're going to create, this is probably going to be fine. And of course, if it is a larger book and you want something a bit more fancy, it'll cost more. However, in most cases, it's not going to be more than $20 to $40. And of course, don't forget, this is just an ebook format. So make sure you tell them that it's going to be way cheaper. So step 3 is, of course, uploading our book to Amazon. So then once our ebook is on Amazon, we can then go and claim it on ACX, which is the platform that allows us to publish to Audible. And all we're going to need is, of course, our ebook, our cover and our manuscript, and our description and our title. And because we're not going to be doing a paperback or anything like that, it's just going to be super simple. All we're going to do is go to Google, type in Amazon KDP, click the first link that we see, make an account if we haven't already. Then you're going to get to this dashboard, and then we can simply click create new title or series. We're then going to click create ebook, upload all the necessary things like our title, our description, and our manuscript, and our cover, of course, and then publish that book so it goes live. And then once it's live on Amazon, we can then claim it on ACX and get our book as an audiobook. All right, so we're just going to fill out the boxes that we need to fill out. So of course, we're going to put in our book title and our subtitle. We're going to skip series. We're going to skip edition number. We're going to put in our author name. This can just be a pen name that you create through a pen name generator. We're then going to skip contributors. And of course, we have to make our book description. So I will leave a book description prompt in the corresponding document below. So you just fill out the information about your book. It's going to create a good description for you. From there, we can just select that I own the copyrights rights to this book. We can click no to the explicit images. And of course, we can leave the reading age blank. Now, when it comes to our categories and keywords, they're very easy to fill out. For our categories, all we're going to do is go to a couple of our main competitors, look at the book categories that they're in, and then select those ones. So of course, this isn't super important because we're mainly going to be selling our audiobook on Audible. We just need the ebook to be able to claim it. So just fill them out the best you can, but don't stress about it. So to find the categories of other books, you can simply just go to the book on Amazon. You can scroll down and you're going to find basically the categories right here. So here we have teen and young adult baseball and softball. We have baseball and we have trivia. So now if it makes sense for your book, you can simply go and select these same categories. And if you do have the book beam tool, as you can see, it will actually show you the category string to get to that point because you'll have to go through it in the actual KDP dashboard. So we can go choose categories. We can go teen and young adult, sports and outdoors, and I believe it was baseball and softball. So now we added the one category, and then we can do this a few more times for the other categories. Now for the backend keywords, once again, it's quite simple. So all you have to do to find the right keywords for your book is simply go and start to type out your book topic on Amazon. And whether you have the book beam tool or not, you should get some recommendations. And I'm just going to pick the ones that make the most sense to my book that aren't already in my title. So if you do have it in your title already, you don't need to double up on it. It will get covered under that metadata, I guess. But anything else that is not in your title, you can put in the back end just so your book will get indexed in more places. But like I said, if you're solely worrying about your audiobook, this doesn't really matter. So pick the 7 that makes the most sense and then move on. We also want to make sure that we click I'm ready to release my book now. So once you finish uploading your backend keywords, you can simply click save and continue. This is when you're going to move on to the actual content of your book. So all you're going to do is just upload your EPUB manuscript that we got from Readsy Studio or your formatter, of course. In terms of digital rights management, this is just going to protect your book from being shared. So you can click yes if you like that. If not, it doesn't really matter. I haven't noticed much of a difference with this. From there, you're going to upload your cover, of course. And then we have to specify if our book is AI generated. So if you did get your book done with the Urban Writers AI or you made it yourself, you can simply click yes, then specify how much of it was written with AI. So in this case, we're going to go entire work with extensive editing because the Urban Writers is going to, of course, create it with AI alongside a writer, but then they are going to edit it as well. And of course, you can do this with anything else you have, like your images and your translations. And then once your manuscript is uploaded, we can actually launch the previewer just to see what it looks like and make sure that it does look okay. We can skip the Kindle ebook ISBN. We do not need this. And then, of course, for accessibility features, I'm just going to click I don't know if my images include alternative text because most likely they won't, or we don't know, or we don't even have images to begin with. From there, we just go save and continue. We're just going to select a price for our book, basically, and it's going to go live on Amazon after it's been reviewed. So when it comes to KDP Select enrollment, I'm going to most likely enroll my book. All this is going to do is just have your book exclusively on Amazon, which means it's going to show it to more places, more people, as well as you'll have some perks like be able to run a free promo as well. But because we're doing an audiobook, it isn't super important. We just need our book on Amazon to be able to claim it. So it's up to you if you want to select this or not. For pricing, we're going to go 70% because we do want a higher royalty price. The only reason you'd go 35% is if you want to make your ebook 99 cents for launching purposes. But once again, we are mainly doing an audiobook, so this isn't super important. So you can simply price it anywhere from 99 cents to $9.99. In this case, I'm just going to go $2.99 because I just want to get my book on Amazon so that I can go and claim it on Audible. And now from there, all you have to do is click publish your Kindle ebook. It will go through a short review process. Once it's live, now we can actually go and claim it to get it put on ACX, which is the platform to get our book on Audible. So now step 4 is uploading our book to Audible and getting it narrated, the best part of the video. There's 2 options to doing this. One is using Amazon's new beta AI narration, which we're going to dive into how to do this in a second. And option 2 is, of course, the normal ACX upload plus finding a narrator. So go back to your KDP dashboard. You will see that you now have a book that comes up right here. Most likely it will just be an ebook. From here, we can click add audiobook with virtual voice. You might have this option. I'm not sure if it is for everybody yet, but if you did want to use their AI narration feature, this is how you do that. So now after we click that button, we're going to come to a page that looks like this. We're going to be able to look at their voices and pick the one that we like the best. We can get them to actually create a sample cover based on our book cover. So in this case, we don't even have to create an audiobook cover. We can then set their price for our audiobook. So in this case, I'm just going to go and actually look at my competitors and just price it competitively. In most cases, if we do it through ACX, it will determine the price for you. So this is a new feature that I'm not super familiar with. So from there, we're just going to go into the virtual voice studio, see if we are happy with the result. Then we can simply click publish audiobook if we are. And this is really the fastest way to get an audiobook up on Audible. And this new feature makes it super easy. But of course, if you do want to go through the actual process, you're not a huge fan of the AI voice, we can now go over to ACX, claim our book, fill out the information, and then actually find a narrator. So now once our book is live on Amazon, we can then go and create an account at acx.com. It's most likely going to be the same account as your Amazon KDP account. They will link together. And then from there, we can simply claim our title and get our book narrated. So now ACX is only available for a few countries. I believe it's Canada, UK, Ireland, and the US, and maybe one more, but I can't remember what it is. But if you are in a different country from the ones that I just listed, there is an alternative that we can use, which I will get to at the end of the video. And then from there, it's super simple. We can just go to claim your title. So now we'll recommend a few books that might belong to you. So this is because our accounts are linked. So in this case, these are my books here. And so yours might show up here as well. But if it doesn't, you can simply type in your book title, your author name, or your ASIN, which is just on your KDP dashboard under your ebook. It's pretty easy to find. And then from there, once we find our book, we can simply click claim title. In this case, we don't want to use our own audio files. We want to work with a producer to narrate and record our audiobook project. From there, we can click claim title. We're going to agree to the terms, of course. And then now, as you can see, it does pull my description from Amazon. So we can leave it as is. If you do have some issues with it, or if it's over the limit like this one, we might have to adjust it a bit, which you can do in ChatGPT. And that's just going to ask you a few more questions that I'm going to fill out now. So after we fill out the first section, we're just going to click continue. From there, we have to fill out the actual chapter names of our book, just so it's super easy for the narrator to plug in that section of the book and just organizes it nicely. So you can either type out your chapters here or simply import the table of contents from Kindle. This is what I usually do. So I did import it here. I'm just going to make sure that it all looks right compared to my book and then move on to the next step. So now when it comes to distribution, this is very important. I'm going to click exclusive distribution just because I only want my book to show up on Audible. And that means I'm going to get a 40% royalty rate. If I'm publishing my audiobook in other places, I'll have to click this one here, which is going to be only 25%. And in my opinion, 99% of audiobook sales come from Audible itself and all the other companies that it owns. And so this way we get the 40% royalty and you're going to be earning way more money. So we just click our territory as world and of course click exclusive distribution, go continue. So now when it comes to getting your book narrated, we're going to click receive auditions for my project to find a narrator. And then people are going to submit their auditions. We have to do no work, essentially pick the one that we like the best, and then just go from there. So you're just going to fill out the information to your liking, what gender you're looking for, what accent, what vocal style. We're going to upload maybe a little portion of our book that they can use as a sample script for their audition. That stuff is super easy and straightforward, but when it does get to the project budget, this is very important. We're going to go pay for production. We are not going to go royalty share. The reason being is because, yes, this will be an upfront cost, but I'm going to show you it's not going to be that expensive. But if we do royalty share, it means we're going to be sharing our royalties. So basically, if I click this, I would not have made $45,000. I would have made basically half because it cuts your royalties in half, gives half to the producer. So I've heard some stories where people have done this to save $1 and their book ends up making, $100,000 and half that went to the narrator. So always click pay for production, pay the couple $100 it costs, and move on. Just going to work out in your favor in the long term. Now, when it comes to the range, always click 50 to 100 per finished hour. You should never spend more than $50 or $60 per finished hour to get your book narrated. And in this case, for a 3-hour book, at the $50 mark, it's going to be $160 to get it narrated. This is a one-time cost for this book to sell for years to come. I believe with the books that I showed you on the dashboard before, all those were not more than $60 per finished hour, so they all cost me barely over $100. And you definitely do not have to spend more to get your book narrated. There are still some really good narrators at this lower price point. So go pay for production, go 50 to 100 per finished hour. And now anybody who applies to narrate this book is going to fall under this price bracket. So now from here, you're just going to click continue. You're going to go to the next step, which is to review everything. Just click upload, and then it's going to have your book live where people are going to now apply for it to narrate it. They're going to send you the samples based on the script that you put here. So now once you upload your book, it's going to go under the Open for Auditions tab under My Projects, which is just on the left-hand side here. And as you can see, ACX is super simple. It's just going to walk through each step of the process. Once you get an offer, if you like somebody, once your book is in production, and then once it's completed and uploaded, it's going to go through a simple review process. And then from there, it's going to be live on Audible. So super simple, super straightforward. They walk you through everything very easily. And even without this tutorial, you will be fine. So step 5 is the best part of the process, and that is getting audiobook reviews so our book can actually sell. There are 3 main ways to do this. The first one is to put a little snippet inside our book. This is just basically going to get the narrator to say, hey, when you finish this book, definitely leave your feedback. It's just going to remind them to do so. When it comes to audiobooks, they will have the option to leave a review once they're finished. So it makes it easy, especially if they have this reminder. The second place is Book Blaze, which we're going to dive into in a second. And of course, friends and family. So you do get access to some review codes on ACX, which I will show you in a second. Basically, you can give these codes to your friends and family. They can redeem them for a free copy of your book and then go and leave their feedback. So I will leave my affiliate link to Book Blaze below. It's super straightforward. You can go and sign up, get the unlimited audiobooks package here, and just use it for as long as you want to get reviews. And then once you're finished, you can basically cancel your account. It's very simple and straightforward, and it will walk you through how to get reviews once you're signed up. So now when it comes to getting reviews from your friends and family, it's super easy. We can simply go to our ACX dashboard, go into marketing. From there, you're going to see your book here once it populates after a couple of days. And then all we're going to do is click Get Codes. Then you can see you're going to have a bunch of promo codes which you can copy, send to your friends and family. You can also basically click this button here if you did share it, just to keep track of everything. When you do copy and send it to them, it will give them a link to go to actually redeem this code, or you can simply type in redeem audiobook code on ACX and you can do it there too. And then they're going to leave their review. And even if you can only do this for 5 to 15 people, that's fine. Audiobooks aren't super saturated, so even 5 to 10 audiobook reviews can work super well in non-competitive topics, and most topics with audiobooks are not competitive. So just get as many as you can, through Book Blaze. And that's just going to set you up to rank high and start to make some organic sales. The final thing I want to touch on is if you do need an ACX alternative, if you're in a different country, you can use Findaway Voices. I believe it's actually called Voices now, but basically this allows you to create audiobooks and then publish them on a bunch of different platforms. So they're going to do all this for you. So now I hope you found this video helpful. Like I mentioned earlier, if you do want to learn how to publish paperback books properly as well and get the most out of all the different income streams that you can get through publishing books on Amazon, I will leave a link to a video below, as well as it will be on the screen in a second here. And if you do want to dive deeper into my entire process, I will leave a link to a free email course below as well. Just going to walk you through my entire book creation process step by step in great detail, including audiobooks specifically. And of course, don't forget to download the audiobook document below. It's going to cover any resources we talked about and just go over the exact step-by-step process if you do get stuck. That's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe for more no-nonsense Amazon KP advice. We'll see you in the next one.